In Chicago, you know that all sports rock. The Bears, Hawks, Bulls, Cubs, and Sox. Pick your favorite, you can choose. As long as the Packers lose. For everything you need to know, it's Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago. Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago. This is your hosts, Alex and Sean. On this episode, we're going to be talking about this week of Cubs and White Sox baseball, a little Bears news, some big Bulls news, and more. But first, I'd like to thank our sponsor, the Rockford Ice Hogs. If you're not familiar with the Rockford Ice Hogs, they're the AHL minor league affiliate of the Chicago Blackhawks. What does that mean for you? You get to see the stars of tomorrow today at family-friendly, affordable prices. So head on over to icehawks.com, get yourself a hat, shirt, jersey, season tickets, and more. Tell them Swerski Sports sent you. Alex, we have a Bulls head coach.
Finally. I mean, it's been a long process, which I'm kind of glad they did their due diligence. And it seems like it's the guy that a lot of people were talking about.
Yeah, it's the guy whose name sounds like a discount hotel website.
I was going to say a type of pitch, but yeah, that works too.
You gotta go to Tiago.
Apparently, his last name is actually Beams. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's Tiago Splitter Beams, but he's known as Tiago Splitter from Brazil.
Yes, Brazil. So he was Portland's interim head coach this past year after Chauncey Billups had his legal issues. And they had a nice season.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, he's obviously been around, and a lot of people will remember his playing days. He was with the Spurs, he was with the Hawks, and I think he played with the 76ers for a little bit. But, you know, he had a number of years in the NBA. He won a championship with the Spurs when they won in 2014. And then, I mean, if you look at his credentials as a player, all EuroLeague first team, two-time all EuroLeague second team, Spanish Cup winner 4 times, 3 times Spanish Cup winner, or I should say the Spanish Super Cup 4 times, Spanish Cup 3 times. He's been the Liga ACB final MVP. He's been the MVP of the league. And his number is retired by Swerski Baskonia. So good for him on that. And then obviously, as a coach in the NBA, you mentioned him with the Portland Trailblazers. He's also been an assistant with the Nets and the Rockets. You know, he's not a young guy, or he's not an old guy, I should say. He's only 41, and he's accomplished quite a lot. And I think that there were a lot of people that were high on him as a potential coach for this team. I don't know how good he's going to be, but I think they made the right hire in terms of the type of guy they were looking for. You weren't going to bring in some burly old veteran. You weren't going to bring in freaking Tom Thibodeau. They'd be the dumbest team in the world to do something like that. And this is no disrespect to Tom Thibodeau, but you needed a guy that you are going to rebuild with, not a guy that's going to be looking to win. That's, you know, a reason why it was okay to move on from Billy Donovan, because Billy Donovan is not a rebuilding head coach. So you needed someone to develop the next wave of guys in this organization, including your 2 building blocks right now that you have in Buzelis and Josh Giddey. So I think the type of guy that they hired is exactly the type of guy that you want.
Yeah, and you know, they very much had a type. I mean, you look at all of the people they interviewed and you look at the finalists, all on the younger side, assistant coaches. So they were looking for that. They weren't looking for a recycle, like you said. They weren't looking for an old veteran head coach. They wanted somebody that was an assistant to help develop these players. And it doesn't mean that this is the long-term coach. This just might be the coach to get you over the hump. Who
Right.
knows?
Right. Here's the thing that is at least good in this scenario, and we talked about this when they hired their VP, is they are not in that process of tearing everything down. That's all complete. Outside of Patrick Williams, you don't have a lot of money at all on the books as a team. It's not like you're stuck with a bunch of old aging veterans and you don't know what you're going to do with some of those contracts, whether it be, you know, somebody that's 35 years old or somebody that's hurt all the time. Obviously, the Patrick Williams deal isn't good, but hey, it's it's one bad contract on a team with a very low payroll. So you've torn it down to the studs already. So the coach is coming in with his VP to start crafting a foundation.
Uh, that's the hope. And I mean, like I'm saying this with the same hopefulness of when I buy a Powerball ticket. So keep that in mind. Is maybe the new front office and the new coaching staff can actually get something out of Patrick Williams.
I'm not going that far. I'm not going that far. I mean, anything's possible, I guess, but I'm certainly not hopeful for that.
I mean, I'm not holding my breath and I'm not putting like the house payment on it, but I that's fingers crossed. Fingers crossed I just bought a Powerball ticket.
I mean, honestly, like if you were able to make Patrick Williams into like a semi-serviceable dude, then I think that's a huge win at this point. I mean, the money is the money that's set in stone. That's not going to be refunded. That's there. But if you just at this point get any sort of value what you can from Patrick Williams at this point, even if it is as just a bench guy, then yeah, I'll take that. I'll take anything at this point.
I mean, the money's the money, you're right. But it sucks is like it sort of locks him into a role. And you're like, so it's like a double whammy. It's you can't even write the guy off as a player and bring somebody else in. Um, you know, it, he has been an albatross to this team.
Well, he has. But again, like I said, that's one bad contract. It's not a team filled with them. It's not a team just filled to the brim of aging veterans. Is you can craft with the vision you want to build. And my assumption is that now you have a VP and a head coach that are on the same wavelength. They have a vision, and now they are going to be going into this NBA draft with a completely new regime.
Yeah. So I, I'm excited to see where they go. Like, I don't know how it'll turn out, or I'm not gonna pretend like they're gonna be in the NBA Finals next year or anything.
I
But
wouldn't even put them in the playoffs next year.
I'm just curious.
I mean, this draft is huge because one, it's the first draft under your new regime, and two is you have the four pick. And it might not be one or two, but it is a higher pick than what you've had in many other years. You have an abundance of second rounders, which I don't really know what you're going to do with a lot of those, but maybe you find a way to get value in other moves with those, whether it's like a trade or something. But it's definitely going to be one of the more intriguing draft nights for the Bulls in a very long time. I mean, just the fact that you have this new regime is enough to keep you intrigued, regardless of where you're drafting. But now that you're drafting inside the top five, makes it even more intriguing. And, I'm not buying in that this is going to be some great dynasty in the making, but it is new, it's brand new, and it's an opportunity to go on a new path that's hopefully a better one.
Yeah, and honestly, getting Splitter, like if he turns out to be a dude, we the only thing we have to thank is the fact that Portland fumbled this one
Yeah.
because they had him in house. He willed them to get into the playoffs with like three huge wins down the you know the end there to make it the postseason or the playoffs, and then they jerked him around for a couple of months, and um you know then here he is.
If things go well with Splitter here in Chicago, and things don't go well in Portland, you know that that front office is going to be kicking themselves for a long time.
Or getting kicked by the fans.
Well, that too. That too.
I mean, that guy got thrown into the fire, and um, he like things weren't perfect in Portland by any stretch, but he he was able to man that team gracefully and get them some tough wins.
And I mean, you can only do so much with the roster you have, right? It's not like he can just go in there and work miracles. It was in a very unusual circumstance. Usually, an interim coach is coming in for someone who is fired for just, underachieving as a head coach or he loses the locker room. Obviously, the Chauncey Billups situation was a little more complicated than that, but, to step in the way he had to and help lead that team to where they got to, yeah, I agree that that is really a notable feat. But here is the number one thing that everyone is going to be looking at is how is he going to develop? Because you are going to be building up a team. You're going to have a lot of young players. Montes Buzelis, he's been in this league, but he's still very young. Josh Giddey is just going to be reaching his prime, and who you're going to draft this year. It's going to be a young team for a while, so that development is key, and it might not reflect it right off the bat with wins. But what we got to see is players taking steps. We got to see more competitive basketball, even if you're not winning that many games. The eye test is going to be very telling over the next few years, I would say.
Oh yeah. I mean, the eyeball test will tell you a lot. I mean, at first, we're going to have to do some, you know, look at metrics, but really eyeball test and then it'll be the wins. When will the wins come after that? But first we've got to get that eyeball test and that's going to be important. And the bummer about hiring a guy this late is we're 8 days before the draft. Is that enough time to get him in there and get his opinion on who they draft?
My hope is that he has been working this offseason and staying on top of things. And I don't know how long exactly Splitter and the Bulls have been talking, but I feel like if he's been a serious candidate for a while, he's brought ideas and thoughts on what he wants to do. And, if Graham says, hey, that's kind of what we're looking for, they've obviously discussed things, then my hope is truly that he's been on top of this. He knows what his vision is, he knows what he's looking for. That's how I'm going to optimistically look at that. I mean, they got to be on the same. Like, if they hired him, they got to be on the same wavelength, right? I mean, if they if
I mean,
they've
that would
drawn
be the
this
hope.
process out, you would think.
That would be the hope.
But you're right. It is. It's not a lot of time. It's not a lot of time to bring in a head coach and then have one of the most important drafts that this franchise has had in a number of years. So there is a lot of pressure here.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see how. I mean, that first pick, I think they already know who they're getting, and it's whoever's left from the big four. I don't think that takes a lot. It's going to be what happens at that number 15 pick.
Huh. And Portland was involved in that too, weren't they?
Pretty much, yeah.
Kind of funny, isn't it?
But it's at that number 15 pick is going to be interesting, and I wonder if they spend these next, a big part of these next 8 days going through the film of who they like and who they're hopeful for, and just kind of getting him to buy on, or choose between a couple of players that they're interested in.
Yeah, for sure. I just wonder what are they going to do with all those second rounders?
Lord knows.
Trade them for some bubblegum cards?
I mean, lottery tickets.
I mean, that's literally what they are. They are the definition of lottery tickets. But hey, if you use a number of those and you find something good within a handful of them, you got to count that as a win, right? At least you're giving yourself more of a bite at the apple with the more that you have to maybe find something good.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: is you're going to get a number of them, and uh, like Nikola Jokic was a second round pick.
Yes, he was.
So I mean, and he turned out to be a generational guy. I know this is going back a ways, but Manu Ginobili is like
Hmm.
one of the quintessential second round picks. Draymond Green, is he an elite player, Hall of Fame? No, but has he been the cornerstone, like a key cog in multiple NBA titles? Yes. One of the best players to ever wear a Bulls uniform, Dennis Rodman. A very a very timely one. Jalen Brunson was a second round pick.
Isn't that something? Jalen Brunson is now becoming a face of this sport.
Um so yeah, I mean I mean it's is there an endless list of top guys that are second round picks? No. But have there been some significant ones? Yeah. That just, you know what? It is some luck, some quantity, throwing shit at the wall and see what sticks, and then skill uh, in identifying talent and scouting, and also development.
Yep.
So you've got. I don't know if you've got the luck. We'll wait and see. You do got the quantity. Hopefully, you've got the front office with the eye in this, and hopefully, you've got the head coach that can help develop. We'll see. I mean, it takes all those components to really get together and get this.
And
And
sometimes too, it takes a talent to kind of fall a little bit. I remember Io DeSumo, like he fell into the Bulls' lap in that second round a few years ago.
yeah, um, and maybe if you're really good at one aspect of it, it makes up for another. So maybe good scouting and good development can beat out luck. Maybe
Sure.
luck beats out good scouting and good development, and you just luck into a player. Who knows? But it'll be fun to see. And but it'll be. I'm just really excited for that 15 pick. Do you think they're going to stand pat and no pun intended, or are they going to try to trade up?
Well, I mean, I don't know how you can package second round picks as well if you're trying to, make a deal, but mentioning all those picks that you do potentially have ammunition to help move up if you want to. So I can't rule it out. I feel like it's going to have to depend on how things fall and what their vision is. I mean, what if there is a guy that they really, really want and they're getting towards that 15 pick and there's a guy that they just think that is a perfect fit for what they're trying to build and maybe they get aggressive. That's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is how aggressive are you going to be when you're just trying to put a foundation in, where you're trying to go out and build something that you can build more on later. Like, it's not like a, hey, we're one or two pieces away from being legit. How aggressive are you going to be? I mean, you can argue either way, in my opinion, on whether or not now is a good time to be aggressive or not. But ultimately, I do think it comes down to what's there and what they see within their vision. And I don't really know what that vision, nobody really knows what that vision is, right? I mean, it kind of has to develop on its own, right?
Yeah,
What is going to be this team's identity? What are they going to build on? Are they going to build on a team, that is a bit more physical? Are they going to build a team that shoots more three-pointers? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see how they build this roster out. Um, I mean, from what I hear, it's they're looking to get younger and more athletic.
Don't say that. Don't say that. God, that is giving me nightmares. Although, if they say they're going to get younger and more athletic, I do trust, even though they've only been around a short time, I do trust that they're actually going to try to get younger and more athletic. I mean, they kind of have to. You don't really have much there. Then when Garpax said that and say, here's a Dwayne Wade and Rajon Rondo past their primes, even though I low key kind of liked Rajon Rondo as a bull, but that's neither here or there.
I loved Rajon Rondo as a
Remember
bull.
those remember those first two playoff games when they beat Boston on the road?
Yeah.
Remember how good he was? And then he had
Yep.
that hand injury and we're all like, "What? What hand injury?"
Oh, Rajon Rondo.
Dwayne Wade was as forgettable as it gets as a
Oh, I
player.
know. He was as forgettable as that statue of him is bad.
Oh God, that statue. Yeah. I can't believe they approved that. But because didn't he like sit half the games anyway? And then Wade just went back to Miami the next year to finish out his career.
That terrible signing.
I mean, we would have loved that signing in 2010, but
Yeah,
it
but that's
wasn't 2010.
it wasn't 2010. That's the thing. Uh, do you want to talk baseball or do you want to talk football?
Well, we just had minicamp.
We did. We did have mini camp. Um, and there's a lot of good things to talk about. And honestly, this is the first time in a long time that we don't have a lot more questions than answers.
Right now, no.
Right. That's a good thing. Who knows what the future holds, but we have Cairo Santos out there kicking 60-yard field goals.
I like to think Cairo Santos spent every day this offseason just like lifting weights with his legs on his bed.
Uh, just in one leg though. He,
Yeah,
he
just
walks
the
like
one
the
kicking
other.
leg.
The other leg looks like a peg leg from a pirate.
And the other is just this just gnarly, muscular, just giant steel looking thing. It's like, well, okay.
Uh, but yeah, you've got him kicking 60-yard field goals in the wind. Jalen Johnson is out there balling out. Braxton Jones looks good. Like, good. Xavier Thomas looks like not a gadget guy or a speed guy. He looks like a legit player out there. You've got Dio Dengbo and TJ Edwards healthy. Um, Montez Sweat is, coming back off of a good year and is looking to even build on that. And Caleb out here talking about how last year was, at this point was real tough and he felt like he was drowning. And now he said he feels like he understands everything and he's excited about where they're going. Like really, really, there's like one downside, and that's Kyler Gordon is frail.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they seem optimistic that it'll be okay for training camp, but the
If he's
the track
not,
record isn't great.
the track record's not great, and the problem is they don't have a lot of skill at the slot corner position. So if
No.
he's not there, they're gonna have to put a round peg in a square hole.
Well, they had to do that a lot last year when he was out.
Yeah, and teams took advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
They're a different team if Kyler Gordon's healthy, both with the pass rush because of his blitz ability and his coverage ability in the slot.
Mm-hmm. No, he's really important. I mean, you talk about some of the guys you need healthy this year. I mean, two of the ones I say all the time are him and Jalen Johnson. I mean, those are just two really important cogs to your defense because you just mentioned it that he has value in the passing game in multiple ways, whether it is blitzing or in coverage. And you know that in this division, you have some real speedy guys that can run those slant routes, and you really want to have a guy like Kyler Gordon healthy in there when you're facing those teams. Like you saw what Christian Watson did to them in Green Bay when he wasn't healthy.
Yeah, I mean that like you need speed, you need cover guys, and uh, it's they need these guys healthy, and if they're healthy, this is one hell of a backfield.
Oh yeah, I mean I love the backfield on paper. I love it. You need it to be healthy, and you need more pass rush. You need more pressure on the quarterback. You need to stop the run, and there's for me there's still a lot of ifs for the defensive side of the ball, but at least that there is the upside, the potential for things to work out fairly well. I think it's just you wonder about health. You wonder about generating some of the pass rush, but I do think that, though I don't think they're going to be an elite run stopping team, but I think with some of the moves you made, you should be a little bit better. I think on paper, your backfield is actually better than it was last year. But again, without some of the key guys healthy, that's going to be a huge blow.
So Kyler and Kyler's getting called out subtly by the coaching staff. And you know what? You know what they who they did that to last year? Luther Burden.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
At this point last year is they call and beginning of training camp, they Ben Johnson called out Luther Burden. Not in a mean way, but hey, listen, if availability is the best ability. And you can't learn out if you're not out there playing and practicing. And he's starting to call out Kyler Gordon. Is uh, what's uh, what's the line from Ted Lasso? You hurt, you're hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but they at some point Kyler Gordon needs to put his big boy pants on and come out there and play.
Yeah, he's that important. I mean, do you remember last year? You remember how I mentioned the game in Green Bay?
Yeah.
You remember that he was like a last minute scratch that game, right?
Yep.
And that was kind of a kick to the nads because you knew the offense they were facing, you knew the quarterback you were facing, and he was a crucial part of that defense, and he was going to be a crucial part of that game. So, again, it just goes to show what a difference it can make when he's in there versus not. But my hope is that once the season starts, is that he's feeling like himself, obviously doesn't get hurt again, because we saw it last year where, like, this is a Jalen Johnson example, but I think it applies to Kyler Gordon, is you remember when Jalen Johnson came back last year and he clearly wasn't himself. And it made a difference. Because, you could say maybe Kyler Gordon is healthy to start the year, but if he's not 100%, it's going to be pretty revealing if he's not. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You really hope that not only is he healthy, but he's completely ready, locked in, 100% feeling good. Because you can't be even a half step behind when you're facing some of these weapons in the NFC North.
um. Yeah. I just need health this year. You're gonna have nicks and bumps and bruises, but we've got to have some semblance of health in that backfield.
It really is incredible. I mean, think about the fact that if you would have told me a year ago today that the 2025 Bears were going to have all the injuries that they had, like if you would have rolled that scroll out in front of me and showed you all the games that that defense missed, both the front seven and the back, and you would have said, hey, look at all these injuries. Also, FYI, everyone in the NFC North had a winning record. If you would have told me the Bears would have won the division, I would have said you're crazy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, every team had a winning record, and the Bears were decimated by injuries.
Yeah. I mean, remember, was it it was the Steelers game. It was the Steelers game where, like, they literally didn't have any linebackers.
Yeah, and you got DeMarco Jackson.
And you found something in him.
Yeah.
That was pretty remarkable. He played really, really well coming up there. And because he didn't just play that game, he played the rest of the year and he impressed. He had some pretty big plays down the stretch. And that is also a testament to Dennis Allen and who he's able to plug in. And it was interesting. Do you remember the quote from Ben Johnson where he said he was going to get more involved with the defense?
Yeah.
I think that it's interesting because I think both he and Dennis Allen, they understood the shortcomings they had last year with the injuries, and they had 10 million takeaways, and you're not going to have 10 million takeaways again, but they saw where the weaknesses were. And I think both of them realized, hey, we can do more with what we have. We can scheme even better. Now, is that actually going to happen? I don't know because you do need talent out there. But I do think it's going to be interesting to see how they manage year two with a pretty reshaped backfield and having tried to beef up the trenches a little bit, but still not having that other dude at pass rush. I just think it's going to be very interesting to see how Dennis Allen and Ben Johnson go about it in this year.
I mean, you look at last year is just from the defensive uh end position. You you lost Dio Odengbo for more than half the season. Shamar Turner missed most of the season. Austin Booker started the season on injured reserve. Um, TJ Edwards missed half the season. Noah Sewell had a season-ending injury. Edmonds was on the IR. Kyler Gordon missed significant time. Jalen Johnson missed significant time and played injured most of the rest of the season. Terrell Smith, who was on pace to win that other outside starting cornerback outside of or the opposite of Jalen Johnson last year. Remember, he was out with the knee injury.
Yep. Yep.
Um, Tyreek Stevenson had injuries. Um, you had so many injuries. Grady Jarrett missed a big chunk of the chunk of the season and played injured through it. It was unreal.
Yeah, it was unreal. I mean, one of the few guys that stayed on the field all year was what, Montez Sweat?
Yeah.
He was one of the few durable guys you had. It really, I mean, you list all those injuries and it really does put in perspective how many there were. Going back to the beginning of the season, you never truly had a fully healthy defense. I mean, some of the healthiest defenses you had were in the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, Kevin Byard was healthy most of the year.
Yeah, Kevin Byard was also healthy. I mean, yeah, Kevin Byard, Brisker was pretty healthy, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think he played all 17 games, but he came out, um, uh, he was questionable in mid year in November.
Right. But both
Back.
Brisker and Byard are gone now.
Yeah. Replaced by faster guys.
I mean,
Um,
it's a big defensive turnover this year. Brisker's gone. Byard is gone. Edmonds is gone. Those are three big guys right there.
yeah.
But I think the ceiling of what you have now, I mean, with who you drafted, with Kobe Bryant, you have, I think, a little bit of a higher ceiling, but there's still going to be a mystery on how well I think this defense is going to play because you don't have right now the pass rush that you would ideally want to have. I mean, is that defensive line is really just my concern there. I'm okay with the linebackers. I'm okay with the backs. It's that defensive line.
The defensive line, I mean, that's huge. It's how are you going to play? How are you going to play? And there's a scenario where they are decent. But there's a scenario where they're just as bad as last year.
Right. It's funny because if you look at good and bad scenarios for this Bears defense, there is in one of the better scenarios, you can have this team play overall better defense, but have just a fraction of the takeaways that they had last year. You know that those takeaways, the rate at which they were taking the ball away was not going to be sustainable. It was an insane amount of takeaways, but those takeaways saved you from all those yards that you gave up, both passing wise and running wise. You could be a lot better at both of those and not have nearly as many takeaways.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're not going to have all those takeaways. You're not going to take it away." And you're like, that didn't make them a good defense. that just saved them from being like an epically horrible defense.
Right.
It was they were hanging on by a string because they couldn't rush the passer, they couldn't stop the run, and their whole backfield was injured. So it's one of those things. It's like, all right, you get healthy, and they're gonna aim to stop the run and get to the quarterback. Like that's their goal. Even if you don't have all those turnovers, if you just play mediocre defensive line play, middle of the pack pass rush, middle of the pack run defense, like you're way ahead of where you were if you had all those turnovers.
Right. I mean, the run defense is going to make such a big difference. I mean, if you can't stop the run, you're not going to succeed long term in the National Football League as a defense. You're just not.
Yeah, it's you've got to be able to stop the run. Got to. And like sure, you're not going to be able to get turnovers like you did before. You got 22 turnovers last year. You were number 1 in the NFL. All right. Let's say uh I'm sorry, you were plus 22. You're plus 22. You got 33 takeaways. Let's say
I was going to say that
let
number seemed really
yeah, sorry,
low.
that was the delta between, so you got 33 total. All right.
And
Let's
how many
say
by Nashawn Wright? Because Nashawn Wright had that
was
crazy
that
run.
5. I think it was like 5 or
And
um
Nashawn Wright was like the epitome of the Bears defense. Gave up a lot of yards, but had a ton of takeaways. Well timed takeaways, too.
so let's say you get 20 and that's middle of the pack. 20
Mm-hmm.
is the middle of the pack. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a difference of 13 turnovers. That's less than 1 a game. That's a good number, but if you could stop the run and you can get to the quarterback, way outweighs less than 1 turnover a game.
Right. I mean, because remember, looking back at last year, the yards per game against was towards the bottom. And bottom as in not being good. Towards the top in terms of how many yards they gave up, but towards the bottom in efficiency. And you can look at some of those games that they played in the middle of the season where even against, teams like, oh, let's use an example like the Giants. The Giants were picking you apart when they had Jackson Dart in there. And Jackson Dart showed a lot of promise, but you were still getting picked apart. And then as soon as the tide turned in that game and Jackson Dart went down, they weren't able to do anything. But could you imagine if Jackson Dart would have stayed in that game and you weren't really getting the turnovers that game either? And, obviously you can look at the game against the Bengals where you gave up, what, 40 some points. And some of that was on the defense, some of that was on the special teams. But, that right there, it goes to show that that defense, when it wasn't taking the ball away, it was capable of letting up a lot.
Yeah. You know, looking like I don't think the number of fumbles are going to change. Like that's not luck. That is opportunity and uh making that happen. The
More often than
interceptions,
not, yes.
the interceptions, you cut those in half. Let's cut those in half. That puts you at 22. It's been 1, 2, 3, 4. You're still in the top 10 in turnovers if you cut your interceptions in half and keep the same number of fumble recoveries. As long as you don't go to the Jets route. Do you know how many interceptions the Jets had last year?
Zero.
0.
How is that possible? How is that actually possible?
And you just think to a couple of years ago, and they were the best defense in football. That
Right?
defense carried their whole team.
Right. Because wasn't that when Sauce Gardner was really good?
Yeah. Well, now he's gone.
Yeah. And now he's on Indy, and Indy's probably regretting that one now. But
Uh,
how do you play 17 games 17 games in an NFL season. I don't I don't get it. It just, if you would have told me a team in 17 games before the season had zero turnovers, I would have said that's impossible. Or zero interceptions, I should say. Even if you're facing a good schedule and you're facing a lot of elite quarterbacks, you're still going to have games against inferior opponents, and no matter who the opponent is, you ought to over 17 games have the ball tipped just right in the perfect spot. And the fact that that didn't happen once, mind blowing.
Yeah. Uh, I'm going back. I'm in 2016 and nowhere close to zero interceptions. Most of them are like six is the low. Yeah, I went all the way back to 2014 and like most of the low in the season is six. The
Yeah,
Jets got zero. That is like just absolutely almost unthinkable.
it is unthinkable in my opinion. I mean, sure, if you would have said, hey, through week 10, they don't have an interception, that's still kind of crazy, but it's like, well, okay, you still have 7 games left to more than likely or not get an interception. And consider this too, is that they, like the Bears, play outdoors. So you ought to have a point where a quarterback's fingers are cold and, they don't get the best grip on a ball, or a wide receiver can't make a play on a ball and it's tipped up and you have a chance to grab it because of the cold weather. You'd think those odds would be even higher for you to get at least one interception for a team that plays outdoors in the winter. Wild.
Yeah. Um, what else? Oh, the so now that they've Caleb feels like he's got much more of a hold and understanding of this offense and what they want, and he's going in to build on it. What is his ball placement? Um,
Ball placement.
if if he's able to put the ball accurately on top of what he does, the league's in trouble.
Well, that's the hope.
I mean, just imagine if the receivers don't have to slow down to get the ball high or low or behind them, and they just catch them in stride. Like
And you could catch him in stride in a system that allows guys to get open and allows them to get yards after the catch.
like Xavier Thomas and Luther Burden are gonna have 4 million yards catching.
Give it to me.
I know. I want it. I want I want an 8,000 yard passer. I want Caleb to go out there and just absolutely ball out. But people go, God damn. Like I'm painting my fingernails too.
Let the record show that Sean Hopman is not satisfied with having the first 4K passer in Bears history. He wants an 8K passer in one season.
Yes. Yes. I want him to average 470 yards a game.
Wouldn't that be something?
People would be big mad. And
The
I love it.
first ever 8K passer season.
Oh my God. I'm just imagining all the things is like Caleb Williams in 8K.
Uh,
He hits he hits 4,000 yards in 2 games against the Packers.
Speaking into an existence.
You got to speak the truth. Uh, yeah, I'm ready. I'm so excited for football. I hope
Yeah,
I
I
hope
and
I'm hoping
I'm
able to get training camp tickets again.
Yeah, no, I am too, and I'm sure I'll at least be going to the Family Fest at Soldier Field, assuming they have it this year. I'm sure they will. They just didn't have it the 1 year, 2 years ago when they had the Hall of Fame game, but they're not playing in the Hall of Fame game, right? No, they're not. They have one preseason game at home, uh, but I'm looking forward to it too. I really am. But you know
Yeah,
what? We're gonna be going into a legit expectation season.
I mean, it's true. It is an expectation, uh, high expectations this year. People are making you into their sleeper Super Bowl pick.
I would like that sleeper Super Bowl pick turn into I can't sleeper because the Bears won the Super Bowl.
Did you see who the Hall of Fame game is this year?
No, I didn't.
This is the most meh game they could have given us. Arizona versus Carolina.
Any particular reason?
I don't know.
But you know what? We love football, and many people love football, and it's going to be on many TVs because we're sickos.
I mean, maybe because they each have a Hall of Famer.
Well, I mean, that was my thought. I'm trying to remember the Hall of Fame class this past year.
It's Drew Brees, Adam Vinatieri, Roger Craig, Luke Kuechly, and Larry Fitzgerald.
Oh, okay, Larry Fitzgerald. Hell, if I were them, I'd say, hey, Larry, why don't you suit up for this game? Give the fans something to watch.
I mean, if you're doing it because the team's playing is why couldn't you have given us the Patriots versus the 49ers?
Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that that was the reason for it, but it's like, hey, at least during the Hall of Fame game, you have one of the greatest Cardinals ever and one of the most liked players ever in Larry Fitzgerald going into the Hall of Fame. So I say, screw it, dude. That game doesn't mean anything. Go put on a uniform and play a few downs.
Love it. Should we talk a little baseball here?
I suppose.
Let's talk about White Sox because they're good. Um, First of all, did you happen to see the Athletics mock Major League Baseball draft?
Yeah, weren't they mocking the other kid above Rauk in that one?
Do you know who they put at number one?
A guy named Lecky.
Vaughn Lackey.
Von Lecky.
Vaughn Lackey.
No relation, by the way.
You know what? Are we sure about that? I recognize that he's a black man. That doesn't mean anything.
Maybe they have blood lineage somewhere. I don't know.
Just imagine if he like they call his name and he goes up there and spits a wad of chaw into a patoon, and you're like DNA test. Vaughn Lackey.
My long lost boy.
And he's a catcher. So he's like, I'm gonna be battering mates with my boy Vaughn Lackey.
Dad, why do you ride a horse everywhere?
Shut up! Why don't you ride a horse everywhere? Don't mind him, Buttercup. That's just Vaughn Lackey. uh, yeah, the White Sox aren't picking Vaughn Lackey. I didn't really
Sure.
care about talking. They're not gonna. They're gonna go Rock Chalowski.
I mean, probably sure. I know there are some baseball people out there saying, this kid's pretty darn good too,
Yeah,
based on the
there's some
scouting.
good players, absolutely. But what has Rock Chalowski done this year to make him not the number one guy?
I know he kind of slumped a little bit towards the end, but uh, I don't think that's any reason to overly panic. I mean, I think what they were saying is there might be a little more seasoning with him, adjusting to some of the velocities that he's going to see, but I mean, that kind of comes with development. I still think they should draft Chalowski. I mean, he seems like the real deal. He seems like still the number one guy across most boards, and it does seem like that it's a good idea based on history. Keep drafting shortstops, draft those athletes.
Yeah, I mean, he had a dip. His OPS was only 1100 this year, as opposed to 1200 the year before.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that he is going to fall. I don't either. I'm just saying is that I think that there are some baseball people that will tell you like, hey, maybe the difference between one and two isn't quite as big of a gap as one might have thought.
I mean, the only thing that would make Rock Chalaus the not number one guy is, you know, do they think they can't sign him, or do they think they can sign somebody way cheaper and then be able to use that financial like bit somewhere else? Um,
I suppose. I hope that with the Ishbia money, that's not what they're going to think of. Maybe in years past they
n-
would.
no,
Now,
I mean they have like a pool of money that they can spend, and so sometimes they'll like, are they going to blow it all on one guy and then not like, or can they
oh,
get
you're talking about if
another?
they. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
no, it's
sorry.
that pool
You're
of
talking about the
money.
pool of money. Okay, I.
Yeah, so like
Sorry,
maybe
my
they
mind
could
was
get,
somewhere completely different.
yeah, with like maybe their second round pick, maybe they can put that and get a guy that drops because of financials.
You're
Um,
talking about actually signing him. In my mind, I was saying like, you draft him, you sign him, and then you give him one of those pre-extensions where you buy out his years. I'm sorry.
so, um, yeah, it's wild. They have Rock Chalowski going third, in the Athletic.
That is interesting. Because I saw another mock draft. I think it was Baseball America. I think they too put Lackey at number one and Chalowski second to Tampa Bay. But I still think that it's most likely going to be Chalowski to the Sox. But I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, here's the thing: is like some people, oh, you got shortstops in your system. Like, okay, well, you got a catcher too. Like Kyle Teal was supposed to be your best hitter this year, and he's been hurt all year. Like, and you've got another catcher too. Like, you've got catchers, you've got major league ready catchers.
Well, I mean, the reason why you never can draft enough shortstops is because their athleticism allows them to be, you know, versatile. You can
Yeah,
move them around.
you can move him to third, you can move him to second, you can keep him at short, probably play him at first. You can play him in the outfield, and plus, like looking at their mock. All right, number one is catcher. Two is shortstop. Three is shortstop. Four is shortstop. Five is pitcher. Six is shortstop. Uh, so like there's just a lot of good shortstops in this draft.
Yeah, there are.
And what are the Cubs going to get? They're going to get a high school pitcher.
Yep, and he'll probably blow his arm out.
This guy throws 85 miles an hour.
He'll we like his peripherals. We think that he's gonna be like Kyle Hendricks. We think he's gonna be long lasting and durable.
I just like an excuse to use a dumb voice like that.
I'm here for it. Uh, but so, going into this week, the White Sox were in the middle of that gauntlet run, having to play Atlanta and the Dodgers this week. And you know what? They won. I think if you would have told me that they would have split that series, both series, but they didn't. They they took they won every game against Atlanta, and they took two out of three against the Dodgers. Like, so
They're
you
legit.
went,
Right now, this team is legit.
yeah.
They're
I mean,
pitching outside the one game. They're hitting clutch. The Montgomery walk-off home run is going to go down as one of the top moments of the season.
Braden Montgomery comes up and looks like a dude. Like his OPS is like what, 830?
It's pretty good.
Like he's hitting the baseball. You were lacking outfield. Now you got it. And this team has jumped up to number 6 in the Bleacher Report power rankings. Number 6. Big, huge
And they're
jump.
only going to get better.
Yeah.
Sox fans should be elated. They're only going to get so much better. This is a
because
team
you're
that's going to be
add,
good for a very long time.
Yeah, you're young talent. And this year, like you're gonna add a couple pieces here and there to help you along the way.
I'm jealous, man. As a Cub fan, I'm jealous because I watch this overpaid, overrated team every night, and this team with a low payroll is just killing it. They're absolutely killing it. They're the better team in the city right now. I'm just going to fully say it. By far the better team.
Looks like they're having fun. The other team looks like they are miserable.
yeah, I mean, playing loose is the best way to play.
Yeah. Um, and the White Sox just like, if like guys that shouldn't be pitching this well are pitching this well.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
Fetty pitching well. K pitching well. Martin pitching well. Um, against the Dodgers, you weren't getting nothing, and you then suddenly have that huge sixth inning. Put up a bunch of runs. Like I love it. I love it. The kids are playing well, and they went and they were what 1, 2, 3, 4. They only lost one game against Atlanta and the Dodgers, and that's without Mooney and without Teal. Without Mooney, without Teal.
And when they get them back, they're going to be 10 times scarier.
Yeah. This is a legit team. Like, this isn't a fringe team anymore. Like, you've got good things going for you. Your pitching's doing well. You've got power bats. You aren't afraid to play against the big names, and you've got an easy division.
Yeah, you're going to run away with this at this point. Cleveland's going to be I don't think Cleveland's that good.
No, you know what? When you play Cleveland and you kick the shit out of them, you're going to start building that lead.
Yeah, I just think it's a matter of time before they start pulling away. Knock on wood.
Like, they're
I
playing
don't want to jinx
good
anything
baseball
for them. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? You still this week, you've got the Yankees coming up, and the Yankees are real good.
But they don't have Aaron Judge. He's hurt.
Nope, they no Aaron Judge, but I mean, they've still been playing really good. Then you get the Tigers, who have not been playing so good, and uh, you've got an opportunity here to win more division games, and you're already in first place. You are tied for first place with Cleveland.
Right.
So good for them. Good for the White Sox.
It's only going to get better. They are building something insanely special over there. After being the worst team 2 years ago. I'm sorry, Chris Getz.
Chris Getz failed up, but you know what? He has made the best of that opportunity.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has. Shame on me for doubting him. Shame on a lot of people, I guess, for doubting him. I mean, he hit it with the Crochet trade. That really jump-started this rebuild. And then you took advantage on Muni of a market that didn't want him, and you were able to get him at a great deal, and now you have the opportunity to lock him up for the rest of his career, potentially, depending on what his representation and agency wants to do.
And you know what? Even if they didn't win the division, they've got multiple games up on the wild card.
Right. But they're going to most likely be in the postseason at this rate. The chance of them being in postseason look pretty good.
Yeah.
Because nobody in the American League is blowing me away. Will somebody get hot? Yes. But I don't think there's enough good teams out there. I really don't. I mean, never say never. You never know, but still.
Yeah. Let's see. White Sox. Would you like to know what their, based on simulations, what their odds are of making the postseason?
75%?
Mm. It is 66.6.
That's still solid at this point.
They still have Cleveland at 93%.
I don't know. I just don't.
They
I know
really
they
like
find
them.
ways to win every year. I just don't look at that team and see all that great. They do have some talent. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think they're that great.
They have, the probabilities, they have Yankees at 99.9, Tampa at 90.6, Toronto at 28.4, Boston 13.5, Baltimore 10.4, Cleveland 93%, White Sox 66.6, Kansas City 4.1, Minnesota 4.2, Detroit 3%, Seattle 82.4, Texas 63.9, Oakland, or I'm sorry, former Oakland 28.2, Houston 11.4, and Los Angeles Angels 0.3. Now you look at the NL, Colorado less than 0.1%, San Francisco 1.1%, Arizona 24.8, the Padres 70 or 30.4, Dodgers 99.9, Milwaukee 99.5, Cubs 50.5, St. Louis 43.6, Pittsburgh 32.7, Cincinnati 1.1, Atlanta 90.6, Philadelphia 63.6, Washington 28.8, Miami 22.5, and the Mets 1.8%. So the simulations still feel better about the Cubs than the Cardinals, but they feel really much better about Cleveland than they do the White Sox. We'll see what real baseball has to say about that.
Yeah, a long way to go.
The White Sox were like, and I took that personally.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I mean, they are fun. They are fun. They're having fun. They're winning baseball games. They're not afraid of anybody.
No, clearly not.
So I'm here for it. I'm here for it. On the other side of town, though, the Cubs still stink.
I'm so sick of watching these guys. Do you know what just happened in this game?
I'm not
Do
watching.
you know what just happened? They had a leadoff triple
somebody
from
gave up a home run.
They gave up a PCA had a leadoff triple, middle of your order. You're facing Michael goddamn Lorenzen, and you can't score off him.
That
I'm
sounds
so
right.
sick of this garbage.
So the White Sox played the Bleacher Report's number 1 and number 2 ranked teams.
We can't even beat the Rockies.
The Cubs faced literally the 2 bottom teams in the power rankings. And the White Sox had a much better record. You split against Colorado and San Francisco, the 2 worst teams in baseball. For some reason, Bleacher Report has you ranked 16. You don't deserve that.
No, you don't. Not the way they've been playing.
And you jinxed Colin Ray because he stinks now.
He stinks. And you know what? He's in a position he shouldn't be in. That's just unfortunate. Whatever. But watching some of these guys hit makes me want to puke.
Shota gives you a gem. Granted, it's against Colorado, but he throws a gem and you lose. You lose.
Any gem you throw in that stadium is notable.
Yeah.
And you were facing a guy with an 8 ERA, and you scored 1 run on 2 fucking hits.
Yeah. You got gems from Assad and Ben Brown. Ben Brown, who is shaping up to be the star of your rotation.
And Ben Brown didn't even have his best stuff, but he was able to grind through. I mean, the one thing I could say about this Cub team is they still play incredible defense, and that's exactly what they did the other night. And I give him props for that. But outside of the 2 games in San Francisco where you did get some timely hits, this offense is a train wreck. It is an absolute train wreck.
Imagine if PCA wasn't just clobbering baseballs.
No, I mean, PCA has been a joy to watch. This has been amazing, but
the rest of the team, just like they never held a bat before.
Outside, maybe Michael Busch is the other guy I'd give it to. Michael Busch has been hitting pretty well, but Dansby Swanson might be the worst hitter in baseball right now.
He is terrible.
Atrocious. Pitchers put up better numbers than him.
He is the Patrick Williams of hitting.
And Nico Horner, what broke? What happened? Who broke him? I think he has been hitting in a little bit of tough luck, but he's been hitting like 170 over the past month or so. He's supposed to not slump. What the hell happened? Is there a virus on this team where you just like, oh, well, I feel like you have to hold the bat by the barrel end? What is going on? And Alex Bregman, I'm sick of him already. He's a leader.
Yeah.
Look at him. Oh, look at what a leader he is. He has the power of a 16-inch softball swing.
And Mo Baller, not balling no more.
Completely fell off. Completely fell off. You're getting to the point where you're like, does he have to go back to AAA?
It's not good. It's
It's
not
so
good at all.
It's one thing to go in a slump, but doing this for as long as they have, for all the money they're making, for all the hype this season. And yeah, sure, Alex Bregman's OBP, it's fine. Batting average, it's not terrible. But you're slugging like what, 360, 370? How is that acceptable?
353.
How is
353.
how is that acceptable? I'm out of words.
I mean, he's around that Dansby Swanson slug rating.
I don't get it.
It's not good. Like I don't know how they come out of this.
You had a leadoff triple with nobody out facing Michael Lorenzen, and you didn't get one fucking run. Seiya Suzuki swung through a fastball right down the middle to strike out. What the fuck?
Yeah. It's not fun. It's not even fun to watch.
No, it's agonizing.
You hate watch it.
Exactly. That's exactly. You hate watch it.
It's like watching the Bears defense during the Trestman era. You're just like, I'm gonna watch this. I hate it. It's gonna take years off my life, but I'm watching every single snap of the shit. Same thing. Just it's miserable. It's miserable. Give me the White Sox baseball. Give me the goddamn White Sox baseball.
Oh, another easy inning against Michael Lorenzen. Whatever.
Like, what the fuck goes on in that clubhouse?
I don't know. I don't know.
Like, why isn't their manager? Why isn't counsel assaulting people? I couldn't hang. You would see me turn into a goddamn gorilla, throwing things and
Sean ripping his chest off, ripping his shirt off and beating his chest like King Kong.
I'm standing on tables throwing wooden barrels at players like Donkey Kong. Which one of you looks Italian?
Yeah. Do.
Oh God. I just can't, man. At least we got one team that's a good team.
Someone's got to be.
I mean, it didn't have to be. We could have had two shitty teams.
That's what it's like many years.
Yeah. Well, at least we got one good one. We can cheer them on. It just makes me mad. Like, you know what? It's one of those things. Is like, all right, if you know your team's going to be bad and they play bad, you're just like, okay. I mean, we expected them to be bad. Blah 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 for whatever reason. This team is supposed to be good. This was supposed to be a team that competed, and instead, you know what you got? You've got all your best pitchers on the injured list, and then you got Jacob goddamn Mizorowski throwing one of the best games ever pitched.
Mm-hmm. Insult to injury. Does that not sum up the Jed Hoyer era or what?
That kid threw one of the best games anybody has ever pitched in the history of this game.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got? What do you got? Colin Ray throwing up meatballs up there.
Meatballs.
You got the only reason that Jameson Tyone isn't leading the league in home runs given up is because he's out, because he's injured.
Yeah, you can't give up home runs if you're not pitching.
I mean, he might find a way. He very well might find a way.
Hey, he comes back and the right he was giving him up, still possible, right?
Oh, it's just angering.
It's one thing if it's 2 weeks or whatever. This has been well over a month.
You know, you're going to go into a slump. This is just misery. This is
Mhm.
just the universe going. The universe turns into a Marty Havlat crockpot. It's just watching you play.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna have to change Buffalo Bill fan puke to Chicago Cub fan puke soon.
Oh, Lord. Water falling
Uh,
down the bleacher stairs.
you just see like a sorority girl in a tank top in the outfield just
Gross.
uh, she's supposed to be adding to the cup snake. Instead, she's barfing.
Uh,
Uh, that's a Dansby Swanson at bat puke if I've ever seen one.
Look at it flow.
God.
They had three good games offensively, and they reverted back to being crap.
Yeah. The people are like, oh, they figured it out. No, they didn't. They just really, the universe said, you can't play this bad against the Rockies and the Giants back to back like this. You got to
Yeah, you gotta have some balls fall in.
like you are literally about to have 9 games straight against the two worst teams in baseball, and you may not come out with a winning record.
No.
That was supposed to be the get right portion of your schedule.
Yep.
That was supposed to be where you kicked everyone's ass and went, all right, all right. Sorry. I know we forgot how to play baseball for a couple weeks. You know, like watching the Cubs go from those multiple 10-game winning streaks to what we've seen outside of that, it's like trying to write with the wrong hand.
That's a good way to put it.
It looks the same. Like your hands look identical. But then you try to write and you're like, this one, you're like, oh, look at my penmanship. Look at me draw these wonderful pictures. Put the pen in the other hand. I don't know how to do nothing.
That might have been the greatest voice you've ever done on this show. Oh my goodness. I need to clip that audio and we got to make it a soundbite or something. That's great.
That's really what the Cubs are like. Just like one day they just show up and like, I don't know how to do nothing.
Wow, you are good at that. You are good at that, like Gomer Pyle type. That is great. If I would have heard that, I would have never guessed that was you doing it.
At least we can get a laugh at them being terrible.
Yeah. This
you-
is therapy 'cause this is where I can just let it out.
It really is. Like, you know, I know you can write to George McCaskey and he writes back no matter what mean things you say about him. Do you think the Ricketts will do the same? If I write
No.
something mean to the Ricketts, do you think they'll write back and be like, Dear Sean,
No,
buy some, here's a 50% coupon off for tchotchkes.
but not really.
There's 50% off if you come at the full moon on a Tuesday and spend over $200 on tchotchkes.
The calendar says that there's no full moons for any Tuesdays. Oh, too bad.
I mean, you got a coupon. You should be happy.
Hey, but you know what? I'll say this too. The Ricketts forked over a lot of money this offseason. Where's the return on investment?
Fire
Bregman.
Jed. I am on the fire Jed bandwagon.
You know,
I don't want. I don't like people lose their jobs, but you know what? Be better.
I just feel like you need some philosophical and structural changes because this philosophy is not working, clearly. And I think there are a number of moves Jed made that made sense and some work out or some don't for whatever reason. I mean, how the hell do we know that Nico Horner would suddenly just for not be able to hit? Like, there's got to be something philosophical that this team does and coaches that just doesn't work.
Uh,
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know
It's
what the
so
fix is.
baffling.
It's
It's
just
so
none
baffling.
of it makes any sense. I'm tired of it.
Me too.
That's too damn bad.
That's too damn bad.
And just because it's the World Cup, I saw some debate and people were like, "Oh, if the best American athletes played soccer, we would be, you know, uh, World Cup favorites." And people outside the United States laughed and said that was stupid and that couldn't, that's American hubris and not going to happen. And I don't understand why they think that because we have evidence that that's true. American women's soccer. Like literally look at the American women's team. We're the best at soccer. You don't think that would happen if I mean, because women's athletes like soccer is like the number one sport for women's sports, right?
Hmm.
Like imagine if soccer was number one or number two sport in America for men. You don't think we would have an absolutely dominant soccer team?
I think so. And I mean, wow, PCA's 3 for 3. He's the only one.
Get that man a cookie. But like we like nobody, none of our best athletes want to play soccer for the men. They play everything else. Like if they were like, you know what, we're gonna make let's make a concerted effort and play soccer. You know that the with the money, the training we have, and the money we spend on development of players from a young age, like, we would crush everybody. Hate to break it to people. Look at basketball. We're the best. Football. We're the best. Baseball. We're the best.
We're the best now in hockey after the Olympics, am I right?
Yeah. And the Stanley Cup Finals too. America.
Happy for the Hurricanes. Really happy for the Hurricanes. I was rooting for them to win. I'm glad they won. What a great organization they are.
With the NBA Finals, I hate the Knicks. I've hated them most of my life. I was trying to tell somebody, I was like, why do you hate the Knicks? And I was like, I'm a grade A hater. I'm a hater, and I hate them. And I'm glad that Patrick Ewing never won an NBA title, and I'm glad the Bulls prevented him from ever winning a title. But I rooted hard for the Knicks.
So did I.
I I like that team.
I like
I
Jalen
like
Brunson.
I like Karl Anthony Towns. I just that's a good, well put together team.
And I just think like there's something about seeing that team in a big market that hasn't won in a long time. We in Chicago know all about that. Where it's just you're kind of excited for it and you see it unfold and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool when you see something like that happen.
Yeah. I mean, that city has a lot to root for right now. Is you've got yourself a brand new mayor that's winning, and you've got a sports team that's winning, like, and they're out there cheering, and you got Taylor Swift on the sidelines going crazy, wearing her Stevie Nicks shirt. Love it. Love it. I'm here for it. Just wish it was the Bulls.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I miss winning championships.
Wasn't old enough to see those championships.
I mean, at least you saw Blackhawks ones and a Cubs one.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
There, you know how many people have come and gone on this earth that never got to see the Cubs win a World Series?
Oh, countless, countless.
Yeah, you got to see that. You got to see several Blackhawks. I'm lucky. I've gotten to see all my teams win, but I'm old. It's an accumulation. It's not a measure of performance. It's a measure of longevity.
Well, when you
I'm
live
the Bert.
forever.
I'm the Bert Blyleven of my team getting championships. Was he good? No. Did he have a lot of wins? Hell yeah, I did. Oh man, I've seen a Bears. I've seen a White Sox. I've seen a Cubs. I've seen multiple Bulls. I've seen multiple Blackhawks. I want more. I want to see. I don't want to see these long stretches without one.
Well,
Like we
we've
should
seen
never
plenty
have
of those
10
long stretches.
Like we should never have a decade of not winning a championship in this city.
Yeah, that should be the standard.
Accumulated.
Right, right.
Yeah. Like we should just have one every 5 to 8 years. There should be a championship in this city.
Wouldn't that be nice?
That's the way it should be. Vote for Sean. He's going to make that happen.
Hey, that's a campaign slogan I could get behind.
These other guys suck. They don't want the sports teams to win.
Your rally, it's a big banner that just says vote for Sean. You're just sitting at a coffee table that's just set up on a sidewalk somewhere on a folding chair.
Just every other person on the ballot. That guy's a Packer fan. This guy wears Cardinals underwear.
Sean Hopman's opponent, Mr. McCringleberry. He roots for the Packers. He has Cardinals underpants. And he also has a St. Louis Blues commemorative puck in his closet. Do you want to vote for someone who is disgustingly associated with these teams?
You know, as good of a campaign ad as that is, have you been looking at the election in Alaska where the Republican primary is between two guys named Dan Sullivan?
That's hilarious.
And one of them is playing it up. He's like, Dan Sullivan is wrong for Alaska. Vote for Dan Sullivan. This message is approved by Dan Sullivan. And Dan Sullivan is suing Dan Sullivan, saying this is a publicity stunt. And the best part about it is it says Dan Sullivan, Republican. So on the ballot, you can't differentiate between the two of them.
Oh my! Like they didn't even put like a middle initial.
No, it says Dan Sullivan, comma R for Republican.
The judge looks at it and he looks across.
It's somewhere.
Who's suing who? I can't remember.
And somewhere out there is another guy named Dan Sullivan that could do the funniest thing ever.
It's awesome.
You've got to Google those, like Dan Sullivan. And you know how like when they have the campaign voices, whenever they talk about like the opponent, it's like in the mean, angry voice, like Dan Sullivan does this. And then when they talk about their candidate, they're like, Dan Sullivan. They keep switching between the two voices, but talking about Dan Sullivan. I just, you got to take these little laughs when you can get them. So much ridiculousness in this world, and you're like, okay, that one's funny.
Absolutely.
Was there anything else you want to talk about?
Nope, I've said my piece.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode of Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago. I want to thank everybody so much for listening. Please hit subscribe however you listen to podcasts, whether it's iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, Google Play, Spotify, etc. Share this podcast with your friends, how we grow the show. Follow us on social media at Swerski Sports, Facebook.com/Swerski Sports, SwerskiSports.com, or Swerski_Sports_podcast on Instagram, or ShyFanPat2 for Alex on Twitter/X, or AlexanderJPatCreative.com for all the cool stuff that Alex does. And again, thank you so much for listening. And until next time, bear down.
Cubs win! What a lucky break! The good Lord We thank Ditka and God for all they have provided.
Cubs win! Cubs win! Cubs win!
Oh, I don't want her. You can have her. She's a Packer fan. She can't fit in my van.
And she looks like
Remember, New Yorkers, smoking crack is not legal on the plains. Bears 31 to -7.
the Bears. Oh, when the Bears go bearing down.